Jerusalem, the epicenter of biblical prophecies, is entwined in the foretold end-time events. The land of Israel is engulfed in a gruesome war between Israel and Hamas, mirroring the prophecy of war and nations' attacks against Jerusalem. As the world watches in anticipation, questions linger. Is the return of the Messiah imminent? Will the prophecies unfold, or will unexpected peace prevail? Join us in this video to explore the unfolding events with bated breath. In the Bible, Jerusalem holds a profound significance, repeatedly identified as the City of God, a holy dwelling place where His temple should be erected. The essence of God's presence in the city is underscored in passages like 2 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 6, where Solomon declares Jerusalem as God's chosen place, and Psalm chapter 132, verses 13 and 14, designating Zion as His eternal resting place. Post-World War II, the establishment of modern Israel was strongly influenced by the Holocaust's traumatic impact on Jewish populations. This harrowing event, coupled with the desire for a secure homeland, fueled support for a Jewish state. The Jewish diaspora, arising from the dispersion of Jews across regions, notably contributed to the rise of the Zionist movement advocating for a Jewish homeland. From a religious perspective, the founding of modern Israel is seen as a spiritual revival for the Jewish people, fulfilling divine promises. Biblical prophecies such as Ezekiel chapter 37 verses 1 and 14 symbolize the revival and reunification of scattered Israelites, and passages in Jeremiah and Isaiah speak of God gathering His people from all nations. Jerusalem, central to many biblical prophecies, is depicted as a focal point in the end times. Zechariah 8:3 foretells God returning to Zion and dwelling in Jerusalem, marking the city's crucial role in God's plan for Israel. Zechariah 14:3-4 envisions the Lord fighting against nations before Jerusalem, highlighting the city's significance in establishing God's kingdom on earth. The Temple Mount in Jerusalem, revered in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, is considered the holiest place on earth. It plays a central role in future events, including prophecies about nations assaulting Jerusalem and the anticipated return of the Lord. Prophecies unfolding, Jerusalem's revival, and the Third Temple. The ancient prophecies about Jerusalem find echoes in the revival of Israel's barren land and the envisioned construction of the Third Temple. One such prophecy of transforming a barren land into a green land. Let's delve into the biblical prophecy about turning barren land into a fruitful one. In the Old Testament, God promised abundance and fruitfulness to Israel. Zechariah's prophecy in Zechariah 8:12 speaks of prosperity. The seed will grow well, the vine will yield its fruit, and the ground will produce its crops. As foretold, the once barren and desolate Israel overcame challenges, transforming its landscape. Advanced agricultural practices like drip irrigation helped maximize crop yields while using water efficiently. Research efforts resulted in drought-resistant crops that need less water, boosting productivity and water conservation. Strategies for water management played a crucial role. Desalination converted seawater into usable water, addressing water scarcity. Land reclamation and soil improvement projects turned unproductive areas into fertile agricultural land. The progress in agriculture and the greening of the land can be seen as the realization of these prophecies. Another prophecy is about the reconstruction of the Third Temple. The biblical prophecy concerning the reconstruction of the Third Temple is a subject of significance and anticipation. This prophecy, rooted in passages from books such as Ezekiel and Daniel, unfolds a vision of a future temple. In Ezekiel chapters 40-48, the prophet receives a divine revelation detailing this temple's measurements, design, and splendor, described as a magnificent structure where God's presence will dwell among His people. In Daniel 9:27, there is mention of a ruler who will make a covenant but later cease sacrifices and offerings, a reference interpreted by many as the desecration of a future temple. These prophecies have ignited discussions and expectations surrounding rebuilding the Third Temple, highlighting its significance as a place of worship and a fulfillment of God's covenant with His people. Significance of the Third Temple for Christians and Jews. The Third Temple holds great religious significance for Jews and Christians. For Jews, it symbolizes redemption and a central place for worship, allowing them to fully uphold their covenant with God. In Christianity, anticipation of the Third Temple persists due to specific biblical prophecies after the destruction of the First and Second Temples by the Babylonians and Romans. Interpretations within Christianity vary. Some view the building of the Third Temple as significant in Christian eschatology about the end times. The New Testament teaches that the New Covenant is marked by the indwelling of the Holy Spirit in believers, making every believer's body and gatherings of believers a temple. Consequently, some Christians believe the need for a physical Third Temple is diminished or superseded. For the Orthodox and conservative Jews, the Third Temple is a crucial aspect of their faith. The First and Second Temples were central to religious life and served as the place where God resided. Rebuilding the temple represents a return to spiritual completeness and fulfillment of biblical prophecies. Differing views within Judaism exist regarding the construction of the Third Temple. Theological beliefs connect its construction to eschatology and messianic expectations. Some anticipate that the Messiah will coincide with rebuilding the temple, restoring Israel's sovereignty, and bringing ultimate peace. Others argue that human effort can construct the temple, emphasizing its connection to reinstating sacrifices according to ancient Jewish rituals described in the Torah. However, challenges surround the rebuilding of the Third Temple, particularly political implications. The construction in Jerusalem carries political weight, involving a change in the status quo on the Temple Mount Haram al-Sharif complex. This area holds religious importance for both Jews and Muslims, with the potential to lead to tensions and conflicts between the two communities. Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock and the proposed Third Temple are two significant religious and historical sites in Jerusalem. The Dome of the Rock, an influential Islamic sacred site, was constructed in the late 7th century CE on the Temple Mount. It holds religious importance for both Jews and Muslims, with the Western Wall being a holy site for Jews and the Al-Aqsa Mosque a significant Islamic site. Due to the implications for Israeli-Palestinian relations and regional stability, an arrangement was reached to prevent violence. At the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where Jordan's Islamic Waqf oversees day-to-day affairs, there has been a historical dispute over whether it was the location of the first and second Jewish temples. Some Muslims have disputed the claim that the Temple Mount in Jerusalem was the location of the first and second Jewish temples. During the early Islamic period, scholars debated the precise site of the Jewish temples. While some believed they were on the Temple Mount, others held differing opinions. A notable example is the case of Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan, who commissioned the construction of the Dome of the Rock, seen by some as an effort to assert Islamic dominance over Judaism and Christianity. The debate on whether the Temple Mount was the location of the previous temple continued until a revealing event. A powerful earthquake damaged the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount. The earthquake affecting the southern wall of the mosque prompted concerns about its stability and restoration. In the aftermath of a powerful earthquake that struck Jerusalem, the Al-Aqsa Mosque suffered significant damage. British archaeologist Robert Hamilton conducted excavations around the mosque and discovered evidence supporting the historical significance of the Temple Mount, specifically regarding the existence of the Second Temple. Hamilton's excavations revealed a large staircase leading from the southern wall of the Temple Mount towards an area known as Robinson's Arch. This staircase was likely used by ancient pilgrims to access the Second Temple. Additionally, a well-preserved mikveh, a Jewish ritual bath, and coins from the Second Temple period were found, providing evidence of a Jewish community near the Temple Mount during that era. With this revelation, will Islam vacate the Temple Mount for the Jews to build the Third Temple? That we're not sure of. The discoveries by Hamilton shed light on the historical connection of the Jewish people to the Temple Mount. Preparation of the Third Temple. While there may be uncertainties, preparations for the Third Temple have been underway. The Temple Institute in Jerusalem has been at the forefront, dedicated to studying and preparing for the eventual reconstruction of the temple. The groundwork for the reconstruction of the Third Temple began with the establishment of the Temple Institute. This organization focuses on researching and recreating the sacred vessels and instruments necessary for temple service, adhering to the specifications mentioned in ancient Jewish texts. One of the Temple Institute's notable accomplishments is creating a replica of the golden menorah. Additionally, replicas of the golden altar, the table of showbread, a copper laver for ceremonial washing, and the high priest's garments have been constructed. Efforts have also been made to breed red heifers without blemish, required for purification rituals preceding the construction of the Third Temple. Recently, the Temple Institute reenacted the water libation ceremony as it was performed in ancient times. Led by Rabbi Yisrael Ariel and other esteemed rabbis, the event took place in Jerusalem's Old City. Dressed in priestly garments, participants reenacted the ceremony with priests and Levites carrying musical instruments. These reenactments aim to educate people about the significance of the ceremony and express their longing for the day when the temple will be rebuilt. Though not open to the public, the reenactment of the water libation ceremony carried a sense of solemnity. Participants, including a select group of 10, drew water from the Shiloh pool, historically significant for pilgrims journeying to Jerusalem for biblical feasts. Pilgrims would cleanse themselves in the pool before presenting their sacrificial offerings in the temple. The ceremony symbolized drawing water for the libation, with a model altar near the western wall adorned as it was during ancient temple times. The reenactment of the water libation ceremony honors historical traditions and rituals associated with the temple. It allows participants to connect with the past and express hope for the future rebuilding of the Third Temple in Jerusalem. So what do you think of the entire chaos happening in Israel? Comment below and subscribe for more.